Hello, this is Kathy Salisbury, the director of the Ambler Arboretum of Temple University. And for this December virtual tour of the garden, I'm actually going to show you our groundcover garden. And if you're wondering where that is, right here we're in the herb garden. So if you just follow the path through the herb garden and through our Ambler campus bell tower, where you can ring the bell, and down the steps, through the native formal garden. If you have limited mobility, there's an accessible path here that you can take down to this gravel path through the native formal garden, where this is beautiful wildflowers in the spring ephemerals, native spring perennials that bloom. We have some gorgeous dogwoods in here, and an allée, which allée is just a landscape architecture term for two parallel rows of trees. And so here you can see our Nyssa sylvatica, which is one of my favorite trees, totally underused in the landscape, should be used more, I think. An allée of Nyssa sylvatica here, which in the fall just get covered with these purple blue fruits that catbirds and robins just seem to love, and this place is just filled with them, with those birds in the fall. So you can have a seat on the bench under the pergola where our native wisteria is in the spring. So you can take either path, and when you get to the end of the native formal garden, you're here. This little oval garden that people might not think much about as they're passing it on their way from one garden to another garden. And there's a little entrance to it here as well from the woodland garden. And if you're coming up from the direction of the Red Barn Gym, this is what it looks like. And you can see the Bright Memorial Pavilions and the Louise Bush Brown formal perennial gardens are just beyond that. And there's a few things that I really just love about this garden. One is that it is this mature musselwoods are in here, and they're just beautiful. The bark is smooth and gray. They're called musselwood because of the fluting on the trunks that resemble mussels. They're native. We'll find them hiking. You can find them in the woods all around. These are some just terrific sized ones. And underneath them is our ground cover garden. And we like to use this garden to show people how they can include plants in their landscape that are more sustainable and will help reduce the amount of inputs in your garden. And so here we're using plants as mulch and leaving the leaf debris as mulch. So we rarely have to weed this garden, and we don't have to add mulch to this garden either, because the plants are acting as the weed suppressant. And this is a great way to think about sustainable gardening. So here this is a ground cover in here of hellebores. They're evergreen. Around the edge we have some carex, which is this one is seersucker sedge. So lots of sedge options for a landscape. Here we have Hakanekloa, the Japanese fountain grass, which in the summer is just this beautiful chartreuse color, and it provides a really interesting texture next to the hellebores. We have in here also some plants that go dormant this time of the year but are active and help keep the weeds down during the spring and summer months. We have some ajuga, we have some barren strawberry, lamb's ear, some ferns, as you can see in here. And so this also, we are demonstrating all around the edges of this about options for green mulch, for green ground covers. And so here, the people who garden with native plants really like this one. This is Allegheny Pachysandra. And so this Pachysandra you could consider using instead of the Japanese Pachysandra that's so common in people's landscapes. This does get a flower in the spring. It does go dormant in the cold months. It will go dormant, and the flowers will pop up right out of the ground before the leaves emerge in the spring. And you can see, so it's not evergreen like the Japanese Pachysandra is, but it has these great mottled leaves on it, and just it takes a while to establish. It's important to remember when we're planting plants, the first year they creep, the second year they sleep. Oh no, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. The first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. So we have to be patient as we wait for our plants to grow. So here's some Japanese sedge. So these are examples of the plants that you can find in the ground cover garden and may be good options for your ground cover garden. We have native and non-native plants alike, so you can make decisions. And so we have the marginal wood fern as an option. Lady's mantle, Acamella mollis, with its beautiful soft leaves that look like fans, folded fans, like the paper fans you used to make. And here's our sedge again, a euphorbia, another sedge. So we have all of these options. We have heuchera and tiarella and bugloss. And here's another patch. Here's a nice example. So what we see here is our our Allegheny spurge, the American Pachysandra, here in this beautiful patch. It's quite large. And then right next to it, we can see the Japanese Pachysandra. And so you can compare them and see what you might like better. But I just think that this garden is really is something that could be modeled in other landscapes. It's small. You can see what you could do with just a small space, how you eliminate the need for weeding, you eliminate the need for mulching, and you have a diversity of textures and colors and flowering times in this tiny space, and you don't have to do a lot of work in it. So when we're thinking about sustainability in our gardens, maybe come and visit the ground cover garden here at the Arboretum and get some inspiration. So you can learn more about the programs we have to offer and the events and online offerings that we have going on now by visiting arboretum.temple.edu. If you're specifically interested in programs, visit the community events page. There you can also find out how to become a member of the Arboretum, how to support the Arboretum, and how to volunteer at the Arboretum. So you can also follow us on our social media pages. So we have an Instagram page, Ambler Arboretum TU, and you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook by following Temple Ambler. We cannot wait till we can see you in the gardens and be together for programs and tours again. But until then, thank you for joining us on these virtual tours of the Arboretum. We really do appreciate all the kind words and feedback that we receive as a result of these. And we are really grateful that so many of you continue to support the Arboretum, even though you can't make it here in person. We have just received so much support and kindness from you all, and we're really grateful for that. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to have you all in the gardens again. Take care, be safe, stay healthy.